How did it fit under there? I don't think he's crazy. I mean, he obviously still works, and he still does normal things. It's not like it's a full-time thing for him, so I think he's pretty wise that he would never go to that extreme. At least I don't think.
I'd say he's a little bit both crazy and legitimate. I think a lot of times the legitimate people have to be somewhat crazy to be able to have a passion to do what they do and find out the things that they do. So I'd say a little bit of both, hopefully.
These things do not look like animals. They look like people. And their faces, this is the first thing I learned from witnesses, is their faces do not look like gorillas. They look like cavemen.
Well, the Patterson-Gimlin film was filmed on the 20th of October, 1967 in near Bluff Creek in California. And it's probably the best video there is of a supposed Bigfoot. And Roger Patterson only lived 2 or 3 years later. But Bob Gimlin is still living, and I've sat around a campfire with Bob Gimlin, and he's a very sincere Christian man, and who has come under a lot of criticism and scorn for 37 years or 38 years because of what they saw that day and what they filmed. And there's been attempts to debunk the film, but it's very difficult because when you look at the animal in the film, you can see muscle mass moving. Nobody's been able to come up with a costume that can match it and have the size and the movement.
Last fall when I was down here, I heard a whoop on top of the hill. And about 5 minutes. The sun was going down at 7. I was down here about 5. Just on top of the hill, I heard this go, whoop! Just like that.
I think that's the biggest problem we have with witnesses is they're afraid to come forward. Family, friends, people they work with. There's a huge fear factor. I think that's where the ridicule comes from. Is they're just society is afraid, and so they deal that way with the witnesses by making fun of them.
Oh, I'd say definitely made me think about it seriously. Before, it's always like, well, I mean, Bigfoot, okay, Harry and the Hendersons or whatever, or the movie that they've got out there, and I've always thought that it's just something that could be imitated or it's never really been a big deal to me. But it really got me thinking, and I mean, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't exist, but it'd be nice to see him, I guess. But yeah, so maybe.
I don't, if it was anybody else, I would probably just laugh it off and just be like, yeah. But I respect Ed's dad a lot. So it's kind of like, I don't know what to think, honestly. I mean, there's definitely a part of me that's skeptical, as I probably would be if it was aliens or something else. But I don't know, he seems fairly convinced, and I don't know, some of the stuff that he's got, like I said, on the website and things like that, or just even talked about, it makes you wonder for sure. So there's definitely, like I said, a part of me that's skeptical and kind of thinks, oh, that's just kind of off the wall. But at the same time, I'm like, man, who knows? So
I don't know what I think of it. I don't think he's crazy. That's for sure. But I'm not convinced myself. But I don't think that he's crazy or making anything up. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
I went through a real emotional phase with it because you're hit with the reality that society doesn't accept. So I can't tell you for sure what's what's getting the popcorn. And I'm not really trying to prove it. I'm just trying to feed them. And typically what happens is the sack is not torn up. It just has a couple holes in the bottom of it. So people think they don't touch the sack. They're afraid to touch it. So what they do is they take a stick and poke it 3 or 4 times to get the popcorn to fall out. So, but I'm just trying to feed them and get them the food and keep it away from other animals. I'm not trying to. I mean, I know they're here because Chuck's seen them and I've seen all the footprints. So many people, after they see or hear something, then they go back in their life and they say, oh, well, this happened 30 years ago and we didn't know what it was. They're just masters of hiding, and you're not going to see them unless they make a mistake. What would it take for you to believe something like this exists?